What is the good life? Let us take a look at how some of the scholars of Islam have explained al-hayatu tayyibah. They're describing the same thing but from different perspectives. Al-hayatu tayyibah, the good life, huwa al-rizqul halalu tayyib. It is the pure and halal rizq provision that Allah gives you. That is the good life. Your earnings are coming from a pure and halal place, and so your sadaqah and your dua are accepted. That is the good life. Meaning that the one who's earning from haram or doubtful sources, they're living a life of misery, and they will be proof to that themselves. Al-hayatu tayyibah, the good life that Allah promises, this is al-qana'ah, contentment. You're pleased with what Allah has given you. Al-hayatu tayyibah, the good life, it is halawatu at-ta'ah. It is to experience the sweetness of Allah's worship. You experience a joy. That is the good life, wallah. The good life, hiya sa'adah, it is happiness. They are describing the same thing from different perspectives. Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, he said, all of this is part of the good life. The one who lives a good life, Allah blesses him with pure and halal rizq provisions. And Allah blesses him or her with contentment. And Allah blesses them with the sweetness of worship. And Allah blesses them with worldly happiness. This is al-hayatu tayyibah. So the good life is the life of overall joy, overall contentment. And that is the best that this world can offer you. You want more, you have to look towards Jannah. But a person who lives a good life suffers like anybody else suffers. But what is different is that you have coping mechanisms. And the Quran picks you up by virtue of the good life that you're living. When cash is a little bit low and now you are fearing poverty, the good life that you have picks you up. And it reminds you, وَمَا مِن دَابَّةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ رِزْقُهَا. There is no moving creature on earth except that it is upon Allah to provide for it. And you are afraid. When you're scared, there's an enemy on your case. The good life picks you up. It keeps you positive. And it reminds you, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ مَوْلَى الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَأَنَّ الْكَافِرِينَ لَا مَوْلَى لَهُمْ. Allah, He is the ally and protector of the believers. And the unbelievers, they have no protector and ally. When a calamity befalls you, and you're dumbfounded, you're confused, this is too much to bear, the good life picks you up. And it reminds you, إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. With difficulty there is ease. When you feel that no one is willing to listen to your problems, and even if they do listen, what can they do? They don't understand. And even if you find someone who understands your issues, you know no one can solve your problems and challenges. The good life picks you up. And it reminds you, إِنَّمَا أَشْكُو بَثِّي وَحُزْنِي إِلَى اللَّهِ. I complain of my sorrow and grief to Allah. When you feel lonely and abandoned and in a dark place, completely deserted, the good life still picks you up. And it reminds you, مَا وَدَّعَكَ رَبُّكَ وَمَا قَلَى. Your Lord has not bade you farewell, nor does your Lord hate you. La ilaha illallah. So with the good life, you suffer like everybody else suffers. Muslim, non-Muslim, righteous, unrighteous, chaste, unchaste. We will all suffer in the life of this world. But when you lead the good life, your suffering is different. Because your suffering has meaning. Your suffering has value. Your suffering has purpose. Your suffering expiates toxic sins that you needed to leave your back. Your suffering raises your place in Jannah, giving you a home that you never deserved. Your suffering is space and light in your grave. Your suffering has an end date. Your suffering ends with Jannah. So those who lead a good life, their life is hard like everybody else, but inside there is a Jannah there. There is a paradise there. There are coping mechanisms there. And that only befits the believer who lives the good life. During times of adversity, he is patient. During times of prosperity, he is grateful. This is paradise on earth. And that is the good life that Allah promises those who good deeds and they have iman. What is the good life? The good life is that which was experienced by some of our predecessors, and I know for a fact some of you today. Where one of them, like Ibrahim ibn Adham, would say, if the kings and the sons of the kings came to learn of the joy that sits in our hearts as Muslims, they would fight us over it with their swords. And a second one who said, how miserable are the people of dunya, chasing after this world. They died and they left this world and they didn't even taste the sweetest thing that it has to offer. They said, what is the sweetest thing that life has to offer? He said, it is the love of Allah and knowing Him and remembering Him. A contemporary Sudani man, maybe some of you have seen the video that went viral, sat in this ugly, hot factory in the Middle East. And they say to him, how are you? He said in his simple Sudani villager approach, simple words, yet profound in their meaning. He said, I am sat in the middle of Allah's favors that are crowding and competing to get to me. He said, I don't even know where to start thanking Allah. I'm in the middle of blessings that are competing and crowding and rushing to get to me. Ya salam. That is the good life. Have you experienced it?